Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I need to make a blueberry crumble and probably 3 batches of cookies. So please join me and let's talk a little bit about motherhood and our journey so far. When my mom got married, her grandmother came over, cleaned out the kitchen sink and mixed inside the kitchen sink a huge batch of pie crust. That way she always had some frozen pie crusts on hand to cook pies for my dad. Isn't that the sweetest? So anytime I make a pie, that's the story that runs through my head. I'm not gonna follow her recipe. I tend to just not measure anyway, and doing it in the blender is just so easy. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I've got my mixing bowl ingredients and we're gonna do a little baking therapy. More importantly, we're gonna have some real talk about something I think every mom experiences. Mom guilt and mom rage. Yeah, you heard me right, mom rage. It's not pretty, it's not fun, and it's definitely not something we'd like to admit. But it's time we talk about it because we are all in this together and we are better together. We can help each other be the moms we want to be. We can help each other break those generational curses and start fresh, giving our children a future and a hope. The struggle is real and we're not going to become who we want to be by denying it. We're going to become the mothers we want to be for our children and families by acknowledging our shortcomings and pressing in, knowing that we can improve. When we lived in Cambodia, we couldn't always get butter, so we learned how to make pie crust using the oil that we had, and then that recipe was a press into pan. And so since I'm doing so much baking, I'm just gonna press this dough into the pan in that similar style. Let's be honest, motherhood is hard. It is the most rewarding job in the world, and it is also, I think, the most demanding. We're expected to be endlessly patient, loving, selfless, all while running on fumes. And yet when we fall short of that impossible goal, which we all do, that's when guilt creeps in. We feel guilty for yelling, for needing a break, for not being quote-unquote perfect. We compare ourselves to the moms on social media who seem to have it all together. Spoiler alert, they don't. And then when we're pushed to our breaking point, that guilt can turn into rage. These are a great alternative to have on hand anytime you're out of lemon or limes. They are shelf stable, very yummy, and you can get in bulk off Amazon. We just refill the box. That moment when you snap over spilled milk, disobedience or defiance, and you're just yelling at the kids, please be quiet. There are so many factors. I think lack of sleep is one of my biggest triggers. This was the cookbook that my mom got when she got married to my dad, and my dad, kind of being a bit symbolic, bought me the same cookbook. Another friend of ours here at our local church also uses the same cookbook, so it's just cool. The page numbers are the same and everything, so it just makes, sharing recipes really easy and kind of builds some community. I think passing recipes along really is something that women like to do. So I'm gonna make the crumble topping from this book for my pie. It's just huge. I mean, who knew that sleep deprivation could almost seem to turn you into just a totally different person? And then there's the constant overstimulation, the noise constantly being needed, the never-ending mommy, mommy. It is enough to make anyone's head spin. The constant barrage of noise, from crying babies to toddlers screaming to older kids fighting, it can just be overwhelming. And let's not forget the lovely hormone fluctuations
Whether it's postpartum hormones or just our regular monthly roller coaster, our bodies are constantly changing, and that affects our moods, energy levels, and our ability to cope. It almost feels like we're being set up to fail. The chaos of having kids is a major contributor. It's like living in a beautiful, yet messy and unpredictable tornado. Toys are everywhere, food is on the floor. Someone always needs something. It is relentless. We're not just dealing with our own emotions either, we're also dealing with the emotions of these tiny humans who are still learning how to regulate themselves and need grace. We are their safe space. We are their guide. Yet we're also their punching bag, all rolled into one, and it's exhausting. But hear me. Sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's the system. I need you to know it's not always your fault. You're not necessarily a bad mom for feeling this way. We live in a society that doesn't necessarily support mothers. We're often isolated, undersupported, and yet expected to do it all with a smile on our faces. The system is broken, not you. We need to stop judging ourselves and each other. We need to stop pretending that motherhood is always sunshine and rainbows. It's okay to admit that it is hard, that we're struggling, and even that sometimes we lose it. We can't pour from an empty cup. How can we be patient and loving when we're running on empty? We need to prioritize filling our cups, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. And we need to draw from the well that will never run dry. We need a relationship with the Lord to renew our minds, refresh our spirits, and give us His supernatural fruits of the Spirit. We're not meant to do this on our own. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I have found a few things that help me. First, and this might sound cliche, is self-care. I know you might be rolling your eyes. Who has the money and the time for a spa day or doing a facial or even a long skincare routine? For me, it's going to the gym. I think finding health and the endorphins helps me, as well as just giving me me time, especially because it's out of the house and I don't see all the chores I'm constantly surrounded by when I'm at home. Maybe for you it's baking, taking a hot shower, reading a book for 10 minutes, listening to music. Honestly, going for a walk is a really great reset.
All right, the cookie dough is done. I'm gonna put it in the fridge so it can chill before I roll it into balls. And it's just a plain cookie mix. You can kind of think of like a chocolate chip cookie without the chocolate, maybe. But let me stick it in the fridge. Dough has chilled for a little bit, and the apple crumble is still cooking away. That one's gonna take a long time. I am gonna get my first batch of these in the oven and then start on our dinner. My son graduates from kindergarten tomorrow, so I thought these might be a nice thank you for his teachers maybe. And then my husband's last day at his job is Wednesday, and we absolutely love everyone there and just want them to know that we're gonna miss them. So on Wednesday, I'm gonna take a batch of cookies and just say farewell. So that's why this is such a huge batch. And kind of a simple cookie because I needed to be able to do a ton of them. So we'll get the first batch in the oven and then start dinner.
Taking time to pray and refresh yourself in the Lord, I think, is a long-term way to reduce stress. But also so is setting boundaries and learning to say no without feeling guilty. It's okay to prioritize your needs. They are important too. And don't be afraid to ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness. Parenting is meant to take a village. We were not meant to do this alone. Talk to your partner and your family and friends. If you can, maybe hire a babysitter even just for a few hours or join a mom group. Find your tribe, the people who get it. Therapy and counseling also can be really helpful. Talking to a professional can give you the tools to manage your anger, the guilt, the stress, and there is no shame in seeking help. In fact, I would say it's a sign of strength. And remember, comparison is the thief of joy. Social media portrays an unrealistic view of motherhood, And we only see the highlights, not the meltdowns, the tantrums, the piles of laundry. So try to focus on your own journey and celebrate your own victories, no matter how small. I want to leave you with this. You are a good mom. You are doing an amazing job. You are enough. Even on your worst days when you feel like you failed, you are still the best mom for your kids. You are their world, and they love you unconditionally.
They're perfect.
Motherhood is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, good days and bad days. There will be moments of pure joy, but also moments of utter frustration, and that is okay. That is normal. That is life. Give yourself some grace. Be aware that we're all sinners. We need forgiveness, but that's not the end of the story.
All right, I think the crumble is almost done. The crumble's getting firm. The pie has set, but it's just a little soft right there in the very center. So I'm gonna put it back in for just a little bit longer.
You are not alone. We are all in this together, trying to figure it out as we go. So next time you feel that mom guilt creeping in, or that mom rage bubbling up, take a deep breath. Remember this video. Remember that you are not alone and you're doing a great job. And remember, it's okay to not be perfect.
All right, we are done. I'm gonna keep the cookies rotating. I'm not even a third of the way through that dough, so it's gonna be a huge batch. So I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for joining me. You are welcome in my home anytime. Bye-bye.